Good morning. It's 9 a.m. in Warsaw, and this is World News on TVP World. I'm Marie Cato. The U.S. is working to bring an end to the war in Ukraine, U.S. President Donald Trump said during the State of the Union address on Tuesday, adding that he will make peace wherever he can.
And we're working very hard to end the ninth war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must.
Marking the fourth anniversary of the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine, the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution demanding an immediate, full and unconditional ceasefire during a session on Tuesday. The US abstained from the vote.
The Security Council will
The document reaffirmed the General Assembly's commitment to Ukrainian sovereignty and territorial integrity. It also called for a comprehensive, just and lasting peace in accordance with the UN Charter, as well as an exchange of prisoners and the return of forcibly displaced civilians, including children. The UN reported that the United States requested a separate vote on 2 paragraphs of the draft, but the request was rejected. The paragraphs in question reportedly concerned Ukrainian territorial integrity and international law.
Enough with the death. Enough with the destruction.
The UK will give Ukraine £20 million to help restore its energy infrastructure destroyed in Russian attacks, British Minister for Europe Stephen Doughty announced on Tuesday.
The UK's message to the Ukrainian people is a simple one. Britain is with you and we will stand with you. And that's why today we have announced £20 million of new funding for emergency energy support to fix the damage caused by Russia's brutal attacks over this winter. We've also announced £5.7 million to provide humanitarian assistance to frontline communities, those who need evacuation or have been impacted by airstrikes or internal displacement. And why we've announced our largest ever package of sanctions to tackle the Russian war machine, nearly 300 designations. We will stand with Ukraine as long as it takes to secure a just and lasting peace and beyond.
Commemorations of the 4-year mark of Russia's invasion of Ukraine took place across Kyiv, with European leaders joining a meeting of a coalition of the willing on Tuesday. There were strong statements of support for Ukraine's defence, including confirmation of a major loan by European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Randy Potts brings us more on how the day unfolded in the Ukrainian capital.
In a press conference in Kyiv today, Ursula von der Leyen declared that the EU's expected loan of 90 billion euros to Ukraine will be delivered as promised.
The first one is the European Union loan of 90 billion euro. We call it the steel porcupine loan because it should give Ukraine the strength of a steel porcupine, indigestible for potential invaders. Let me be crystal clear, and the President of the Council also said it. The loan was agreed by 27 heads of state and government in the European Council. They have given their word. This word cannot be broken. So we will deliver on the loan, one way or the other.
The President of the European Council, Antonio Costa, also weighed in.
The only path forward is a just and lasting peace. A peace rooted in the international law, respect for sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the principles of the United Nations Charter. And Russia must come to the negotiation table in the serious way and accept that it will not win this war. After 4 years of aggression, Ukraine has held firm, and Russia has not achieved its objectives in Ukraine.
And finally, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke, saying Putin cannot block Ukraine's EU membership forever.
It's vital that we have started working on the details of a key geopolitical security guarantee for Ukraine and for all of Europe, and clear date for Ukraine's accession to the EU. The year 2027 is very important for us, and I hope doable. I hope so that Putin cannot block our membership for decades.
The memory of the fallen defenders of Ukraine.
The international delegation also took time to place candles at a makeshift memorial in the Ukrainian capital to pay tribute to Ukrainian soldiers who were killed during the 4-year war. Under heavy security, European leaders stood in silence alongside senior Ukrainian officials to reaffirm their support for the nation's defense. Today's memorials ended in prayer. For TVP World, Randy Potts.
As Russian missiles fly overhead, it's all hands on deck in war-torn Ukraine. In the city of Bucha, an all-female unit known as the Bucha Witches, staffed with women of all ages and professions, stands guard protecting the skies by operating air defense systems.
In normal life, I work in a kindergarten. The other girl is a pastry chef. The guys, one of them makes furniture, another is a builder.
Zone 2.
Valeria isn't your average kindergarten teacher. By day, she looks after toddlers. In her free time, she leads a squad of Bucha Witches. The Witches are a volunteer force formed shortly after Russian forces were pushed out of Bucha, a town synonymous with the Kremlin's most brutal war crimes. With most men of fighting age away at the front, they stepped up to provide local air defense. Now, it's more relevant than ever. They gather several times a week in a remote location to train together. The youngest are in their 20s, the oldest in their 60s. Coming from all walks of life, many of them remember the viciousness of Russian occupation in 2022. Not far from where they train, the positions Russian soldiers used to occupy. Lyudmila is a baker by trade and an amateur musician. I asked her why she felt the need to volunteer.
First of all, I am a citizen of Ukraine like everyone else. I want to be useful, to continue being a mother, to support my family and to help my state. At some point I realized I could learn to be stronger, more organized. I started looking for a place where they could teach me to shoot, to be more motivated, stronger.
In her daily life, she plays the accordion. With the Witches, she operates a .50 caliber Browning machine gun. Squad leader Valeria quips that being a kindergarten teacher is helpful when it comes to managing her team of volunteers. But the reality of war is never far away.
I hope our children won't have to live through this. The children already know what air raid alert means. We evacuate them during alarms. They point at the sky and say, rockets. Even my youngest group, they already know. They say, it's alarming. I try not to scare them. We put their shoes on and quickly carry them out in our arms.
Some of the kids Valeria looks after are less than 4 years old. All they know is war. These volunteers come here several times a week to train, to prepare. They then deploy, usually at night with thermal cameras, to shoot down drones or anything flying in their sector. They say that although they have full-time jobs, kindergarten teachers, bakers and others, they have to wake up to the situation their country is facing. They volunteer their time, their nights, their days, to keep the skies over their cities clear. They say they want to carry on until peace is in their country.
Our main goal is for Ukraine to survive, to be successful, prosperous, independent, and able to provide a future not only for the current generation, but for our children and grandchildren. We want to survive this terrible struggle. We want the world to know that Ukraine deserves help.
Alex Cadier, TVP World.
Let's now go live to our correspondent, Ovidiusz Nicheja, who is at the Warsaw Citadel this morning, where a high-level armed forces and defense ministry staff briefing is taking place. Polish President Karol Nawrocki is in attendance, accompanied by Defense Minister Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz and General Wiesław Kukuła, Chief of the General Staff of the Polish Armed Forces. Good morning, Ovidiusz. Tell us more about the significance of this event.
So this briefing is where top officials of the Polish military, including the president, who's the commander-in-chief of the Polish armed forces, including the minister of defense and the chief of the general staff of the Polish armed forces, discuss the priorities for the next year. They also discuss the progress made on last year's priorities. And these priorities, pretty much since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, have been constant. It means modernization of the Polish armed forces, buying new equipment and expanding the numbers of soldiers so that Poland has enough soldiers to be able to protect itself, and that they're equipped with equipment to be able to not only defend but also deter any potential aggressor. Now, there is a consensus in the country that these processes should take place, but there is a disagreement on how exactly to modernize the Polish armed forces. We have an ongoing debate regarding EU's loan program called the SAFE program. The government is very optimistic about this program, from which Poland is set to obtain 44 billion euros. They say that this is a great chance to boost the Polish military while also injecting large amounts of money into the Polish economy. The Polish opposition has been critical of the short period of time given to implement this program, because this money has to be spent by 2030. So there is an ongoing debate. The Polish parliament has adopted a legislation on that program. However, the government is still waiting for the president's approval for that bill. The president is set to decide on it. We still do not know, and today is one more chance to discuss parts of this program with the Ministry of Defense and with the Polish armed forces. Back to you, Mary.
Thank you very much, Ovidiusz Nicze, joining us from the Warsaw Citadel. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz is in Beijing, where he will meet Chinese President Xi Jinping later today. The trip is Merz's first visit to China since taking office in 2025. Before taking off, Merz said that China, quote, has risen to the ranks of great powers, adding that Beijing's voice is also heard in Moscow. China is Berlin's top trading partner, with the German car industry heavily dependent on the Chinese market and the country benefiting from Chinese investment in the telecommunications sector. Many Berlin diplomats are, however, hoping that Merz strikes a tone aligned with the government's China strategy, which aims to reduce economic dependence on the world's second largest economy. Merz is the latest Western leader to travel to Beijing, following the footsteps of British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, who visited China in recent weeks. To mark the 4th anniversary of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, a symbol of Ukrainian defiance has found a new home at the Banksy Museum in Krakow. The donation of the artist's iconic Irpin mural serves as a reminder of the war's destruction and the enduring role of art.
This mural appeared in Irpin in November 2022, on the wall of a building destroyed by Russian bombs. Now, on the 4th anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the Banksy Museum in Krakow received a photography of the mural from a real estate company which is rebuilding Irpin, called the Society of the Brave.
In 2022, it's appeared on the wall, destroyed building, destroyed by Russia, when Irpin was almost occupied. They were near the border, someday we woke up and see this.
For the people of Irpin, this mural has become a powerful symbol.
For us, it is very important. First of all, it is for me as a personal. It is very important as I'm as for director of a museum, Banksy in Krakow, and also as a person who moved in Poland because of war. And for me, it is very important to receive this present from Ukraine as a gift.
We asked the Ukrainian consul here in Krakow about the importance of art in times of war.
This path, appealing to the world through art, is important, especially when people like Banksy draw attention to this tragedy. Today, by sharing this mural, we too are appealing to the world for help and solidarity.
Now, the image of a Ukrainian gymnast training amid rubble has become relevant once again, as Russian athletes have been allowed to participate in the Paralympics, while their compatriots are launching missiles on Ukrainian cities, just like Irpin, every single day. For TVP World, from Krakow, Natalia Komarov.
That's all for World News right now. Thanks for joining us and stay tuned for more news and analysis on TVP World. Goodbye.